The Huawei P40 series has arrived, again without Google mobile services. There is no doubt that this phone in its core is a fantastic device. However, since even sideloading GMS doesn't work anymore, should you actually spend money and get a Huawei? It has been a tough few months for Huawei. First, the US ban, which you probably already know about, and second, the loss of Google mobile services. Now here, Huawei was still doing fine. In fact, the company's sales were even growing due to massive support in China, and even here in Europe until a short while ago, you could actually sideload GMS through a one-click solution. You still did have to deal with some compromises, however, your favorite apps were mostly running. Since then, two things have happened. The pandemic, which massively dropped sales in China, and the blockade of sideloading GMS on the Mate 30 Pro, for example. This means, should you install it, the device will warn you that your device is not certified and your favorite Google apps won't work. The hope for Huawei is the Huawei P40 and the P40 Pro, which we have here. It has top hardware, an improved 90Hz display, one of the best cameras in a smartphone, a pretty good and well optimized software, amazing battery life, it makes great use of AI, supports 5G and more. It even looks great in this color. What you can hear out is, it's as perfect as a smartphone can actually be. Overall, still better than most of the recent smartphones. But with all the good things in life, there is a catch. Sideloading GMS as with the Mate 30 Pro is not possible anymore. Well, kind of. Maybe I can survive without GMS. I used Phone Clone to transfer all my apps from my P30 Pro to the P40 Pro, and in fact most of my apps still work. There are some exceptions, however most of them have a well enough replacement. A small number of them said they require Google services once, but actually worked after all. Out of the 54 apps I transferred, only 7 are not working. This is a good rate. Even apps like WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Adobe apps like Lightroom and Photoshop are working properly. Even weirdly enough, some Google apps like Maps and Chrome. However, I was missing a few apps that I'd like to have. Looking at the new app gallery, I could immediately see that they upped their game. There are way more apps than before and it's still growing. However, the apps I told you about before are not here, which means no automatic updates for me. Well, manually doing it the unsafe way through third-party sites it is then. Which for me is actually okay, but for a lot of people maybe not. Now, interestingly enough, Huawei has an unofficially official and kind of funny way to help you with this, the app search. This is an app you can download in the app gallery and look, I can download Google Maps here, or WhatsApp, or Facebook and more. It leads me to potentially trustable APK sites like APK Mirror, and it actually works. Also, let's download YouTube real quick. Oh, well, that's okay. It does work after all. I can't completely fill my screen anymore, but it's fine. After all, I can add my Gmail account into other mailing apps. Use the web version of Google Drive, even though it is one more step I have to take. It still kind of works. You can actually live without Google services as most of the Google apps are web-based. And if an app you like is missing, which requires GMS, then chances are if it's not an American company, your app will come to the app gallery too. Maybe. However, for me, what I am actually missing is my mobile payment app and the Wear OS app. I have a good amount of Android smartwatches, and by switching to this phone, they are as useless as my Apple Watch when I currently use an Android phone. Well, most of the time I don't actually sync my watch and just use it as a watch, so maybe that's also fine. Ultimately, let's get to the point of this video. Should you get a Huawei? Maybe not. Could you get a Huawei? Maybe. Will I keep using the Huawei P40 Pro? I think so. Basically, the answer depends heavily on you. What do you want, what do you need, and are you willing to trust Huawei as they are still throwing out a lot of money at developers and companies to join their app gallery? My recommendation is look at the phone and see if you like it more than other phones on the market, which for me is the case. See if there are not working apps and games you absolutely can't live without, and check if the alternatives are sufficient for you. Also think about investing into Huawei with their watches and headphones. And in the worst scenario, just wait and see how this develops.